We know that training load is associated with injury, and we also know that stronger and fitter athletes tend to be protected against injury. So the obvious question is, how do we use this information to develop robust and resilient athletes? And what comes first? The training load to protect against injury, or the strength and the physical qualities that come on the back of training load? So in this video, I'd like to describe how I would go about developing the unbreakable athlete. So the impetus for this vlog was a paper that we wrote looking at the unbreakable athlete and the role of moderating factors and circular causation. We took a group of elite practitioners from around the world to see if we could answer the question of whether it's possible to develop the unbreakable athlete. Now, our two questions in this paper, one was related to a chicken or egg type question. What comes first? Is it the strength that allows us to tolerate training load? Or is it training load that develops strength in order for us to tolerate more training load? And our second question was if we can use training load information and what we know about training load and injury risk to better manage our athletes to help develop the unbreakable athlete. So in answer to our first question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is it strength or training load that comes first? What we need to do is consider the load capacity relationship and how local tissue and sport-specific capacity interact. Now, every individual has a certain amount of structure-specific or tissue-specific load capacity. And this structure or tissue-specific load capacity is associated with inherent physical qualities of strength, aerobic fitness, speed, repeated sprint ability. It's these physical qualities that allow our athletes to tolerate a certain volume, frequency, and intensity of load, an appropriate training load. As we apply more training load, our athletes develop greater tissue-specific capacity or structure-specific capacity, which enhances those physical qualities. And it's a circular relationship. Our athletes are not born with sport-specific capacity, but it develops over time through appropriate loading. This is our classic load-capacity relationship where we're trying to load slightly greater than our athlete's current capacity. Now, it'd be really simple that in order to improve capacity, all we needed to do was just load a little bit more than our athlete's current capacity. But if it was that simple, there would be elite athletes everywhere and we would have unbreakable athletes everywhere. So clearly there's a little bit more to the puzzle. And the other components that we need to consider are these moderating factors, historical factors such as age, previous injury and previous training experience, physical factors such as biomechanics or movement patterns, environmental factors, probably genetic factors, and psychosocial factors such as emotional and lifestyle stress. So increasing load capacity involves more than simply increasing load. These moderating factors feed forward and feed back to influence our physical qualities, which in turn influences our adaptation at any given point. It's when we consider all of these factors together, the load capacity relationship and how they interact with these moderating factors, that we can get to a point to decrease injury risk in our athletes. Now, I don't know whether it's possible to develop the unbreakable athlete. Some people will say I'm crazy to think it, but what I believe, what I know, is that if we work in sport, if we work in high performance, then we have to have the mindset that we can develop the unbreakable athlete. And we have to sell that attitude to our athletes. We have to sell the belief that we're going to help them become the unbreakable athlete. And it's when we have that belief, when we put appropriate programs in place, that we give our athletes the best chance of developing robustness and developing resilience. There's a lot of factors that go into making up good performance and injury resilience. I don't know whether it's possible to develop an unbreakable athlete, But I do know that as sports medicine and performance professionals, we need to be aiming towards that. And we also need to help develop that quality and that belief within our athletes. And we can do that through the physical act of training, applying training load and developing physical qualities. But we can also do it by understanding the psychosocial factors that influence our athletes' health, their well-being, and their performance. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a comment or visit us at gabbittperformance.com.